Hi, this is Justin with Ocean Vayu Yoga. Thanks for joining me. Today we're going to go through about a 20-minute standing practice, maybe just a little bit shorter than 20 minutes. The intensity level will be able to be tailored to you by you. Hopefully I will be presenting enough options along the way in the various postures that will give you a good entry point, and most importantly, a point at which you can be in the pose and maintain a steady and smooth breath. If the breath gets a little bit choppy or a little strained, it's usually a good indicator that maybe we're either pushing a little too far or trying too hard to get into a particular pose to a particular depth, which is fine. You just back out of it until the breath smooths out. If you need to come all the way out, that's fine as well. You can always come back in. So with all of that said, let's do it. All right, so we're going to begin standing at the top of our mats with the feet about hips width distance apart. We're going to come into a gentle forward fold here. So we'll take a nice deep breath in. With the exhale, we'll begin to hinge at the hips and fold forward. Maybe softening the knees a touch to start with. You can run the hands down the legs. If you would like, you could interlace the arms. Let the weight of the arms help bring the upper body down a little lower. And if you would like this to be a bit more active, you could work on straightening the legs out a bit, maybe even straightening them all the way. You could also take the hands down to the feet or towards the mat, maybe grabbing the big toes with the index and middle fingers, slightly lifting against the toes. Or, of course, knees can be bent, arms interlaced. And whichever option you are working with today, just keep your attention on your breath. Keep breathing steadily and smoothly. And we'll do 2 more breaths here. And 1 more. With our next inhale, we'll come up about halfway, gaze forward. We'll exhale and pause. The next inhale, we'll catch the waist, press into the feet, and rise up. Good. We'll exhale and pause right here. We're going to do a little bit of a side opening here, so I'm just going to turn to the side so you can see a little better. But keeping the feet about hips width distance apart, we're going to reach the left arm up with an inhale. And with the exhale, we're going to lean over to the right. You can run the right hand down the outside edge of the right leg. Another breath in. With our exhale, we're going to shift weight into the left foot, pushing into the left hip. And try to keep our breath steady and smooth. If the breath gets choppy at all here, just back out of the posture a bit so that you can maintain even breathing. We'll do 2 more breaths. 1 more. With our inhale, we'll come up, reach up through the left hand, and exhale, let that hand come back by the side. And we'll do the other side. Inhale, right arm up, reaching up. Exhale, leaning over to the left. The left hand runs down the outside edge of the leg. Full breath in. And with the exhale, shift weight into the right foot, sending the right hip out to the side. And again, just bring our awareness right back to the breath. And if you need to change any aspect of the posture to help maintain the breathing, just do that. Otherwise, we'll do 1 more breath. With our inhale, we'll come up, reaching up, and exhale, let the hand come back by the side. I'm going to do a little gentle twist here. So what we want to do is take the left hand to the right hip and the right hand behind the back. We want to keep the hips facing the direction that they're facing. We're going to twist to the right, but we don't want the whole body twisting to the right. Just want the upper body and the chest to spiral open to the side a bit. Keep a lifted feeling through the center of the chest. Keep the spine long. We'll do 2 more breaths. And one more. And with our inhale, come back to center. We'll exhale and pause here. We'll set up the other side, the right hand coming to the left hip, left arm coming around the back. Again, keeping the hips squared to the front. Deep breath in. And with the exhale, just spiral the upper body open to the side. You can feel that lifting sensation through the center of the chest. And feel that the weight staying even through the feet. We'll do one more breath. Good. With our inhale, we'll come back to center, and exhale, relax here. We're going to do a little mini back bend, more of a chest lifting than a back bending here. So we want to take the hands to the low back. You can kind of point the fingers down here a bit. And we're going to take a full breath in, let the chest rise with the inhale. And with the exhale, we're just going to shift our gaze upward. Maybe the hips come slightly forward, but really what we're thinking about is keeping that lifted feeling through the center of the chest. We'll do 2 more breaths. 1 more breath. And with our inhale, we'll come back to a neutral position. So we can step the feet together now here. We'll take a deep breath in. And with our exhale, we're going to step the right foot back about a leg's length between the feet. And we want to keep the hips pointing toward the front of the mat. So the hips are staying squared forward. Take a breath in. With our exhale, leading with the chest, we're going to fold out over the left leg. The hands might come to the leg for support. If you have a couple of yoga blocks, you could bring those down to the mat if you like, or if the hands make it all the way to the mat, you can bring the hands down, fingertips or flat hands. And again, whatever variation you're working with, just keep the breath smooth and even. And we'll do 2 more breaths here. 1 more breath. And with our inhale, we'll come up about halfway. We'll pause here. The next inhale, we'll rise all the way back up. And we'll exhale and pause here. We're going to make our stance a little bit wider here. We want to shift either the front foot forward or the back foot backward, but just making a little more space between the feet. And we're going to take another breath in. With our exhale, we're going to bend into the left knee, push back and down into the right heel. Next inhale, arms come up. We'll gaze up, coming into warrior 1. You can have the palms together here, or maybe the arms are separated a bit. Totally up to you. If gazing up towards the hands or in between the hands does not work for your neck, you can gaze forward or just slightly upward. And we'll do 1 more breath. With our next inhale, straighten out the leg. Exhale, let the hands come back by the sides. And with our inhale, we'll step back to the top of the mat. Take a breath. And then we'll set up for the other side. So stepping the left foot back now, about a leg's length between the feet. Again, keeping the hips squared towards the front of the mat. Deep breath in. The exhale, leading with the chest, coming forward. Again, hands can come down to the legs, maybe to some blocks, maybe to the mat. Wherever it is you happen to be, just tune into your breathing. Try to keep the spine lengthened. We'll do 2 more breaths. And with our next inhale, we'll come up about halfway. We'll exhale and pause. Next inhale, coming all the way up. And exhale here. Again, we're going to widen the stance here. So either the front foot going forward or the back foot going back, or a combination of the two, keeping the hips squared. Deep breath in. With our exhale, bend into the right knee. Push back into the left heel. And inhale, arms up. Shifting the gaze upward if it's comfortable. And again, the hands can be together or separated. You can gaze up or forward or anywhere in between. And just tune into the breath. We'll do one more breath. And then with the inhale, straighten the right leg. Exhale, hands to the sides. Next inhale, back to the top of the mat. Take a breath here. Then we're going to set up our next posture, which will be triangle pose. I'm going to step the right foot back. We're going to turn the foot out to the side, also turning the hips out to the side. It's about a 90-ish degree angle between the feet and about a leg's length between them as well. Arms come up to a T with an inhale. And with the exhale, we're headed to the left. We're going to reach out through the left fingers, lean over to the left side. The hand can be on the leg for support. It can kind of glide down the leg if you don't need the support. And if you make it all the way to the foot, you could catch the big toe with the index and middle fingers. You can gaze out to the side or up towards the hand in the air. And again, just paying attention to our breath, letting the breath guide the depth of the pose. We'll do one more here. And with our inhale, we'll come up. Exhale, let the arms come back by the sides. We're going to widen the stance here. So shifting either the front foot forward or the back foot back. Arms come back to a T with an inhale. With the exhale, we're going to come into a side angle by bending into the left knee. And we're going to reach the right arm up and over the right cheek or ear. You can gaze up toward the palm of the hand here. If this is not enough for you, you could take the left hand down to the outside edge of the foot, just trying to keep a straight line between the fingertips and the outer edge of the foot. You can keep the forearm right here on top of the leg. We'll do one more breath. And with our inhale, coming up, straightening the leg, arms to a T. Exhale, relax the arms. Taking a breath here. Now with the next inhale, arms to a T again. I'm going to come into warrior two, bending back into the left knee. I'm going to gaze over the left fingertips. I'm going to try to keep the spine lifting straight up so we're not leaning forward or leaning backward. Two more breaths. One more breath. Then we'll inhale, straighten that leg. Exhale, relax the arms. We'll turn and with an inhale, step back to the top of the mat. Taking a breath here. And then we'll set up the other side. So we're going to step back with the left foot. I'm actually just going to turn myself around here. Left toes are pointing out to the side. Right toes towards the front of the mat. Arms to a T with an inhale, setting up our triangle. With the exhale, reaching out through the fingertips and leaning over to the side. And again, the hand can be on the leg for support. You can glide it down the leg. Or if you make it to the foot, again, perhaps grabbing the big toe, reaching up through the left fingertips, maybe gazing up towards the left hand. If that's not comfortable on the neck, then just gaze out to the side. Slight lift in both kneecaps. Try not to lock the legs here. Just want them straight but not locked. And with our inhale, we'll come up. Exhale, let the arms rest by the sides. We'll widen our stance, again, either walking the right foot forward or the left foot back, or a combination of the two. Arms to a T with an inhale, setting up our side angle. Exhale, bending into the right knee. Right forearm comes down and the left arm comes up and over. or reaching the left fingertips up and away from the outer edge of the left foot. And again, if you'd like to take this deeper, you could bring the hand down to the outside edge of the foot. But just try to keep one straight line. So if you end up with the hand by the foot, but 3 different lines through the side of the body, then you're probably going to want to back out a little bit. One more breath. With our inhale, straighten the leg, arms to a T. With the exhale, let the arms rest by the sides. Take a breath, and then we'll set up warrior 2 on this side. Inhaling, arms to a T. Exhale, rebending into the right knee. Kind of reaching out through the fingertips rather than trying to lift up on the arms. Try to focus on your breath. 2 more. 1 more. And we'll inhale, straighten the leg. Exhale, let the arms rest by the sides. Next inhale, take it back to the top of the mat. We'll take a breath here. And then the next posture is going to be chair pose or Utkatasana. What we're going to do, you can have the feet together here or maybe slightly wider apart, but not wider than your hips. We're going to bend into the knees and inhale, reach the arms up. Again, maybe palms connect, maybe they don't. Maybe gazing upward, maybe gazing forward. Try to feel that sinking through the hips, countered by the upward movement through the arms, and an even weight distribution through the feet. 1 more breath. We'll inhale, straighten the legs, reach up. Exhale, hands by the sides. Take a breath. Then we're going to step out to the right, or just step the right foot back. We're going to pivot so that the feet are pointing to the sides here. Hands are going to come to the waist. Deep breath in with the exhale, leading with the chest, folding forward. You can run the hands down the legs. If they make it to the feet, we'll catch the big toes with the index and middle fingers. If they don't make it to the feet, we'll support ourselves with the hands wherever they happen to be. And we're going to take a deep breath in and gaze forward. With our exhale, keep the spine long. Fold forward. So try to make sure that the weight is being carried evenly through the feet here, so we're not rolling to the outside edges of the feet, nor really just jamming it all down to the inside edges. A slight lift in the kneecaps, slight lifted feeling in the lower abdomen. 2 more breaths. 1 more. And we'll inhale, head up halfway. Exhale and pause here. Catch the waist, press into the feet, and inhale to rise up. With the exhale, we'll heel toe the feet together. And then we're going to make our way to seated. So we can just come to sit. Simple crossed legs is fine. Whatever is comfortable for you. Lotus, half lotus, no lotus, doesn't matter. We're just going to lengthen our spines. Feel a slight lift through the top back part of the head. Let the hands rest softly on top of the legs or the knees. You can have your eyes open or closed here. We're just going to bring our attention to our breath. We don't need to change how we're breathing. Just taking a moment to observe. Giving ourselves an opportunity to settle. Thank you very much for joining me for practice today. Namaste. Well, if you enjoyed this practice, you can let us know. You can drop a comment down below. And of course, we always appreciate it if you would like, share, and subscribe. Thanks. We'll see you next time.